It's common consensus among Clone Wars fans that Commander Fox mostly sucks, as we've said in many videos in the past. But honestly, plenty of his ineptitude reflected on the rest of his men as well. The Coruscant Guard was a massive help in securing Palpatine's role as Emperor, but ironically, they actually nearly undermined the entire Sith Grand Plan as well, by helping him too well. In this video, we'll discuss how Palpatine's experiences with the Guard led him to develop a nearly fatal flaw: underestimation of other clones. The role of clone troopers in the Sith Grand Plan is simple. They were to fight a massive galactic war, wipe out the Jedi, and serve as the core of a new, exceptionally powerful military force with which the Sith would establish control of the galaxy. They were perfectly suited for this task. They were skilled and intelligent, but also obedient, and the belief that they were outright unable to disobey orders wasn't entirely unfounded. As we've discussed in a previous video, most of the Grand Army of the Republic actually did fit this mold. A prime example of a unit that fell into that category was the Coruscant Guard. The Coruscant Guard, which was commanded by Commander Fox, was composed of elite shock troopers and tasked with policing Coruscant. Despite their skill, however, the men of the Coruscant Guard were very much generic clone models. For the most part, they weren't very independent or free thinking, and they also were fairly incompetent at times. There were exceptions to this, of course. Commander Thyre and Commander Thrawn in particular come to mind here, but for the most part, the Coruscant Guard is what us Clone Wars experts refer to as normie clones. This was, of course, how Palpatine had intended it to be. The Coruscant Guard had a larger job in establishing the Empire than most other clone units, and in a unique way, they had the special task of turning Coruscant into Imperial Sensor. It should be noted that they excelled at this job too. Without hesitation, they enforced increasingly harsh security measures, cracking down on dissent and forcing even senators to show their identification at unavoidable routine checkpoints. Coruscant, as it was at the end of the Clone Wars, was actually not that different from Imperial Sensor, as the planet was renamed during the Empire's reign, which is a large part of why the citizens of Coruscant and of the core so readily accepted the Empire. This could not have been done without the Coruscant Guard. But because of the Guard's special role, they coloured Palpatine's view of all clone troopers. Clones that Palpatine came into contact with were almost exclusively members of the Coruscant Guard, and so he began to operate under the assumption that they were indicative of all clone troopers. Because the Guard was unquestioningly loyal, if a bit incompetent at times, Palpatine viewed all clones that way, and for the most part, he was more or less right. As we all know, many clones in the Grand Army of the Republic were much more independent than they were designed to be, and though this was an asset for Palpatine when it came to winning battles, it nearly proved disastrous. It's a fair bet that pretty much everyone watching this knows the story of Fives and his discovery of the Biochip Conspiracy, and when Palpatine finally got to meet Fives, he believed that he was just like the men of the Coruscant Guard. This belief nearly cost them everything. When Palpatine told Fives the truth of the biochips, Fives reacted as he expected. He lashed out. What Palpatine didn't expect is that he would escape custody and nearly managed to spill the beans on Order 66 to the Jedi. In taking the Coruscant Guard as archetypes for clones, Palpatine had failed to account for clones like Fives that were independent and resourceful, and it resulted in a very close call. But just as the Guard got Palpatine into that mess, they also got him out. And as we all know, they did so with a fatal shot from a certain a-hole's blaster pistol. So that's how the Coruscant Guard nearly ruined the entire Sith Grand Plan simply by being what they were designed to be. And as per usual guys, I want to know what you think. Do you like the Coruscant Guard despite Commander Fox? Because I know there are a couple of badass Coruscant Guard that propped up the whole Legion despite most of them being NPCs, so let me know in the comments section below. And just before we go guys, you know the drill, check out all the links in the description below and make sure you join the wider Geetsly community on our gaming network, which includes Gmod and Roblox. It's constantly growing, constantly improving, and it's just a fun atmosphere to be in. And also I want to thank all my Patreons for helping me transition to this full-time role on the Geetsly's channel. It really helps me out just knowing that you guys are behind me with this, and if you do want to support me, the link is in the description along with everything else. As always guys, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.